Hello, this is Robbie. I just wanted to talk about what my 8th grader was using for curriculum this year for 2016 and 17. It's an end-of-year review, and I wanted to talk about what's worked, what hasn't worked, and some substitutions that we made into the Timberdoodle Elite kit. This is a combination of Bookshark and Timberdoodle, and actually for science we use Science Fusion. So we'll do, I'll do some mini reviews here on all of these things, and some of these things will have to be more in-depth on a separate video. So in the meantime, enjoy and get a cup of coffee. This may take a little while. Thanks. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of start in this corner down here, and we'll just kind of move around the table. So forgive me, it's probably going to have subjects going randomly from products going randomly from subject to subject, but it's just kind of easier for me to keep track of what I've done and what I haven't that way. Okay, so word roots. That is from the Timberdoodle Elite curriculum. It is part of the language arts. It is a phenomenal vocabulary program. What it does is it teaches, get out of the glare here. What it does is it teaches the word roots, the meaning of those roots, and also the prefixes and suffixes and that sort of thing. You won't see any work completed in this book because we're sharing. My junior in high school is using this as well. It's pretty, he says it's really hard. So, well, anyway, it is based on a, I believe, 4-day work week. Okay, so let's see here, lesson 2. So you get a list of the suffixes, the roots, and the prefixes. You then have to match the word from the choice box to the definition. That would be section A, or day 1, and it follows a very logical schedule, which makes it really nice, especially if you follow a 4-day week. Yes, there's section A, B, C, and D. This one is a fill in the blank. This one is writing the definitions. You have a bank that you can choose from. And this is where you use the words in context in a sentence. My kids hate this section, but of course this is where they prove whether or not they have actually understand the definition of the word and how to use it in a sentence. So it's this is probably the most important part of the lesson, but of course it's the part that will tend to get skipped if I don't monitor it. But this was a book that I literally just tore out each page. You can take it in and have the binding cut off, but the pages are perforated. So the answers were in the back. So I have a master key with answers in them. So I was just able to pull those out of the back, put these in a binder, and it was, I 3-hole punched them myself. So anyway, this is a really good program. Because they're sharing, they're doing their work on notebook paper. So, but anyway, I highly recommend this. There's a word roots level 1 if you think that they might need something a little easier. It gives you an age range, and as you can see, it's a pretty broad range. So just depending upon the you know, what you think your child needs in terms of this program, you can go substitute for level 1 if you want to, which comes with the 7th grade curriculum. Level 1 does. As a matter of fact, my 8th grader is finishing up the 7th grade level 1. Actually, he did not do it all in 1 year. So the older one is using this one, and then the younger one will move into this one when he's ready. So there goes that. Writing with Skill. This is a really good program. There's a teacher manual as well. It's really thick, but I didn't put it out here. But Writing with Skill is a very gentle program. It starts off with very simple objectives, basic skills, where they learn literally how to find a topic sentence. You know, it really starts gentle. So if you have a child who just hates to write, who really just isn't a good writer, this will start them at easy and build and build and build and build until at the end they're doing a full research project. So I do highly recommend this program. It's very well done. And the teacher manual has, like, it gives you prompts and gives you guidelines on how to grade their papers, which is really helpful, because that's probably the most difficult part for me, is trying to figure that part out. So there's that. All right, so jumping to another subject here. Here's Gravity Maze. This is for the STEM portion of the Timberdoodle. This is Timberdoodle as well. This is Timberdoodle. I'll just assume it's all Timberdoodle unless I say otherwise, because most of it is. And I'll forget to keep mentioning that, so I figure I better clarify that now. All right, so Gravity Maze. This is so cool. Last year, it came with laser maze. This year's Gravity Maze, and literally you have these challenge cards, and you have these blocks that have these chambers that cause the marble to go in one direction or another, and you have to start in one position, end in another position, and align all of the blocks with the appropriate colors. It just gives you things that you can and can't do within the challenge card. And these can get quite challenging. They start with easy and build. So I highly recommend this. Again, I love Timberdoodle for their thinking skills, their STEM, and logic, that sort of thing. Did I say STEM for this? It's not STEM, I'm sorry. This is part of the logic and critical thinking portion. So I highly recommend this. Just love it. And also, I did take a look at what was going to be offered for 2017 and 2018 from Timberdoodle. They have made some changes, actually quite a few changes to the 8th grade curriculum. So when I come across something I know has been changed, I will let you know, because I really think actually most of the changes they made were positive ones. This one is going to be in the next year's curriculum, so that will stay. This is called GeoMags. This is made by a Swiss company. It's basically, do you remember those kits? They discontinued because they were falling apart and little kids were swallowing the magnets. Ooh, I can't remember what they were called. But anyway, this is literally a magnet set. It's got the bars, it's got the marbles, it's got all kinds of little pieces here. It's got compasses. But this is different than just a building set. This teaches about magnetism. This teaches about polarity. This gives you, again, challenge cards. And this is considered part of their STEM. This is not the logic. This is STEM. And you have to build the various components that are on the challenge cards. And you learn different things about magnetism and polarity and that sort of thing as you do it. There's some engineering concepts in here as well. So this is a really good program. And one thing that I found that was happening to us, or my son, as he was going through his program, was that he was skipping some of these cool things, not because he didn't want to do them, but because they were he wanted to get all the core stuff done and then be done with school. So, but I know he really wanted to do them, and he would try to set aside time. It just wasn't working. So I went to a workbox system, and that has made all the difference in the world. We now include everything that's in the workbox system has to be done every day, and that includes some of the STEM stuff. Now we alternate and go back and forth. Actually, I think this might be, I'm going to pause this for a second and come right back. Just one second. Okay, I'm back. I wanted to check my notes because this is done daily. It is the logic that we alternate, but this is a daily project. Anyway, sadly though, this is not going to be offered in the next year's curriculum. They are going to continue to offer this, but they've got it on closeout. So if this is the kind of thing that really interests you, they are now closing it out for $129.95 right now. So I imagine it's probably just as supplies last, but I wanted to at least give you the review on it. Now what they're doing in place of this is really cool. You may find that you don't really want to do this, I don't know, but it's the Ingeno Robotics Mini 1.3. Now I don't have a picture here, but if you go to Timberdoodle's website and just look at their curriculum kits, excuse me, you'll see that under the STEM, they're now offering this Ingeno robots. If you know anything about Lego Mindstorm, that's what it reminds me of. You literally have 8 different robots that you program through your computer. It doesn't look like it's Mac compatible, though. I will mention that. It appears that it's Windows compatible from XP all the way through Windows 10. So check that out. If your kids are not into robotics, they don't like it at all, they would prefer something like this, just ask them to substitute. I'm sure they will be more than happy to do that. You can even customize kits through ordering online, but sometimes the options are limited in terms of what you can substitute. So just kind of keep that in mind, but they're very flexible and they will substitute for you. Okay, let's just talk about this for a second, because this is also part of the STEM program curriculum, and this is called the KidCoder series, and they have several options available with this. This is included in the 8th grade kit. No, excuse me. KidCoder is included in 8th grade, but this is the game programming. This was actually in the 7th grade program this year, but it wasn't offered last year. So when we did Timberdoodle last year, he didn't get to do this, and because this was the one he was most interested in, we opted to substitute this for 8th grade. The 8th grade one was about HTML and web design, and he wasn't interested in that. So now I will say this, they continue to offer this on their website, on Timberdoodle's website, but they're not putting this in the kit this year. They're putting something else in there. They're substituting something called, where is it? Youth Digital Course. And it's a digital online coding course where they get to actually choose the course they want to do. And there's like 3D rendering, and I mean, there's like 5 or 6 different options there, and they look really good. So honestly, if you see an option there that you think would be interesting to your student, then you won't need this. But the game programming uses Visual Basic and teaches Visual Basic coding, and so my son has loved this. He's thoroughly enjoyed it. So I do highly recommend this, but it won't be in the kit. So take a look at what they do offer and see if it's something you want to do, and if not, you can, I'm sure, substitute this in place of it. Okay, so, math. This is teaching textbooks. A lot of people have, done reviews on teaching textbooks. It has been a very good fit for us. I have enjoyed it. My son has enjoyed it, as much as anyone can enjoy math. Pre-algebra comes with the 8th grade kit. We substituted Algebra 1 because he did pre-algebra last year. This is a very gentle course, as far as I'm concerned. People criticize it because they think it's too easy. I don't really think it's easy. I just think it introduces concepts in a very logical, progressive way, and it's very thorough. It will continually spiral back around. It's a spiral program, and it will spiral back around to topics over and over again. By the time you get through Algebra 1 and Algebra 2, you have a very good grasp of algebra. My oldest son, who went through a little more rigorous Algebra 1 when he was in 8th grade, didn't retain much of any of it, and he actually got an A or a high B in that class. So I don't think that's going to be the case with this, because it's very thorough. If you have a child that is extremely math-oriented, that prefers a mastery program, this is not the one for you. They do offer Math UC as well, so you don't have to do teaching textbooks. You could do Math UC. But if you want something else like Saxon or whatever, I don't believe Timberdoodle offers that. At least they didn't last year. So, but this is actually very good. I do highly recommend it. Okay. Thinking skills. Again, love their thinking skills. And this book is, you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of some of the questions that you get in an intelligence test, an IQ test. It's just a lot of, and again, this is one of those things that he was skipping, and he actually loves this book. He has a lot of fun with it. So now that we're doing workbox, we're getting it in now, but just lots of exercises, really fun exercises about that make you think, use your critical thinking skills. I do highly recommend this. Again, grades 7 through 12. It's got a very broad range of ages that can use this and have fun with it. Easy grammar. Love easy grammar. Really, I can't even tell you how much I love easy grammar. There's no sentence diagramming in it, but it goes into a lot of depth into grammar. And this is one of the grade level ones. This is grade 8. In 7th grade, they offered Easy Grammar Plus, which is honestly a more thorough overall grammar course. If your student needs a really good start to finish grammar course, I would go with that one. This is meant to be review, and each of these lessons is only supposed to be a 10-minute lesson. So it will basically give them 10 minutes of review, and then they have to do some sentence combining at the bottom, and it's meant to just be 180 daily teaching lessons. It's meant to keep it fresh in their minds, keep it current, keep their skills current. So if they really need a thorough, there will be brief explanations and reminders about how to do things, but it's not in-depth as the Easy Grammar Plus. So you can, talk to Timberdoodle about substituting the other. If you do the Easy Grammar Plus, this has the lessons, the answers in the back, and you can just cut them out and put them in a master binder if you don't want your student to have access to those. But the Easy Grammar Plus, I would highly recommend getting the student workbook. It's like $15 extra, but it gives them a workbook that they can work through, where in the Easy Grammar you've got the answers on this side, the questions on this side, so literally the answers are going to be right there in front of them when they do this. So unless you cut the binding off, these pages are not perforated, so you have to cut the binding off and hand them this worksheet and then go back and check it. You can do it that way, but I do highly recommend the workbook. It just made things a lot easier, and I don't like having a lot of loose papers laying around, so that's just me. Okay, Doodle Lit. This is not something that my son was really interested in. I thought he might like this, but he kind of really hasn't liked it. So he hasn't done anything with it. They don't include this. It looks pretty cool. It had some good reviews, but literally they learn little tidbits about different literature pieces, and then they have to doodle some art to go with. And if you have a student that would enjoy this, then hello. Okay, I'll deal with that in a minute. Hold on. Okay. Sorry about that. Somebody wanted to drink. Okay. Anyway, Vampire's Castle. Create your own castle. So this could, to me, this looks like a lot of fun, but it just wasn't his cup of tea. They're not offering this in the next year's curriculum kit. So I meant to look and see if they were closing it out or if they were just going to still offer this, and I didn't do that. I completely forgot. So I'm going to grab my notes, take a look, just so I can tell you what they're doing in place of it. They're doing something called Archie-Doodle City, which is more along the lines of design and engineering. You are given a partially drawn picture, and then they give you a prompt, like to design this or design that, and consider this factor and that factor. And so that's the sort of thing that you're given with that.
Can I want more?
Yes. All right, so that's what they're offering in that. So it's a similar type of book, but it's definitely different. So keep that in mind. Dream House Doodles. Dreamhouse Doodles. I don't remember seeing this on the new kit. Dreamhouse Doodles. Oh, I included this on accident. This is from last year. So this was the doodle book that they had in the 7th grade curriculum. Instead of, this, they always try to include some stuff like that, which I really love that about them. But I didn't mean to bring that in. That was from last year. Okay. You can draw everything. Oh, I can't tell you how much I love this book, because it has beautiful illustrations. It teaches you how to recreate it. And then it tells you about, it's like a mixed medium kind of thing, inks and pencils and, pastels and all kinds of stuff. So it's just a beautiful book. I just really, really like it. He's not actually on this page. He's done more than this, but this was another one of those things that we had kind of been skipping. And again, I made sure that it was in the workbox, and so it gets done now. And he's really decided he enjoys art now from this. So I highly recommend this. Good grief, I'm probably going to spend some time in this when he's done with it. I just love it. And because it's not a workbook, this isn't it's not a consumable. It's, you literally get your own sketchbook and you do the exercises. So I like that about this. Okay, Graphic Shakespeare. This is part of the language arts. It introduces Shakespeare with a graphic novel interface, if that's the right word that I'm trying to use here, but you know what I mean. It's a graphic novel, and it introduces Shakespeare, and it actually explains the different things that are going on in the play. So it gives kids, or students I should say, an understanding of the different Shakespearean plays without them having to, before they get into the actual literature itself. And I know he's going to be studying Shakespeare next year, so I'm really thrilled to have this. Okay, so now history. We opted not to use the history that came with the Timberdoodle Elite curriculum last year. They were offering a world history course. It seemed kind of dry. We didn't. I can't say from experience we didn't use it. So, but it was called the People, Places, and Events of World History. It was just a one book wonder sort of thing, you know. So history is one of those courses that my older kids have never really enjoyed, and I wanted to make sure that they were getting something really rich. We opted to do Bookshark this year, and again we use secular curriculum because it's offered through our charter, and I supplement with Christian things that I want to supplement with, but as far as what we have to choose from, we have to pick something secular. So that's why we're using the secular Timberdoodle curriculum. Now, Timberdoodle is a Christian company. Their core kits have, they don't include any Bible study per se, but some of their materials do include Christian themes, usually in the literature, the history, and the science. So the science that they picked, the science and the history that they picked for their secular kits was obviously secular, and I don't think was quite as rich and as good. Now, I will say this next year, they're not using the same curriculum that they used last year. They're not even doing world history, and it's interesting because we opted to do American history through Bookshark. And this is by no means everything that's in that Bookshark history. That is going to require a completely separate video. It is a literature-based program. It includes a whole set of United States history books, a timeline. It's got a student guide. There's a teacher guide that is massive with daily lesson plans. It's very well thought out, very well done. And then every day you have a different reading segment in a different literature book that corresponds with the time period that they're studying. There's probably 15-20 books that they go through in a year, and he's really enjoying this. History is becoming something interesting and something he enjoys now, and I'm just thrilled with that. So that's why we opted to do that. Same goes for literature. Literature is the core language arts we're using through Timberdoodle, but as far as the literature, we're using through the Bookshark. Bookshark is a division of Sunlight. Sunlight is a Christian company. So if you want to, you can take a look at Sunlight's offerings and maybe pick and choose some books to offer alongside of these. And what I've noticed is that for the most part, all of the materials included in Bookshark are offered in Sunlight as well. So the only exception to that would be in the younger grades. It seems like even though the books, they offer the same books, the sequence of the way they're offering them is different. But in this, which is their 100 series, it's hard to explain how they do their thing, but this is not grade leveled in Bookshark. They only go through 8th grade. Probably because once high school charters, once kids get into high school, the charters go strictly digital. So that's probably why they only offer through 8th grade in Bookshark. So this is actually supposed to be a multi-grade program. So it's not categorized by grade level. It's their 100, History 100. And this is the Literature 100, I believe. It's just been a while since I had to pick all this stuff out. I can't remember for sure, but again, this is really rich with lots of beautiful books to go with. And if you want to pick out some Christian things to go with, just check out Sunlight's book list. I think that's probably the best way to go on that. Okay, so, oh, I forgot to mention, Timberdoodle is now offering a American History for 8th grade. It is called The People, Places, and Principles of America 1. So I find it interesting that they chose to do American history instead of world history as well, which I wasn't thrilled with the world history idea. It seems like world history is kind of grilled into kids in the early years, and I just didn't want, I wanted to focus on American history this year, and obviously they've changed their mind on that too. So if you want to check that out, it's definitely different, and I'm not familiar with that new program they're going to be offering, so I can't give an opinion on it. Okay, this is what I'm doing for Bible for him. It's Bible Truths A. This is actually a BJU workbook. I didn't get the teacher manual. This is really well done. It really doesn't need a teacher manual in my opinion. It's very self-explanatory, and if you have a strong, what's the word I'm looking for? Not a strong faith, but if you have some Bible knowledge, you know, you should be able to kind of guide your kids through these. But they do offer a teacher manual if you want it. This was actually their 7th grade, but because it started at the beginning of the New Testament with the Gospels, I just wanted to do that instead of what they offer for 8th grade. But I highly recommend this. Beautiful colored pages. It's engaging, really good explanations. I think the theology is sound. I like the thought-provoking questions. I just really like this. Okay, now science. Science, the offering that came with the Timberdoodle kit was interactive science. We tried it last year, we didn't like it. So this year I researched, finally came up with Science Fusion. They use Apologia and some other things in their Christian kits, but for secular, I just wasn't happy with their science selection. So I ended up going with Houghton Mifflin. Actually, this is considered Holt McDougall, sorry. I got it off the HMH website, though, which is Houghton Mifflin Harcourt. It's called Science Fusion. This is the middle school program. It's modular. They have modules in earth science, physical science, and life science. And because I wanted him to do physical science this year, and he was interested and wanted to do physical science this year, I picked out 3 modules on physical science. Motion, energy, motion, forces, and energy, obviously, which is this one, the one he's on now. We got light and energy? No. Doggone it, now I can't remember. Motion, forces, energy, matter and energy, light, I can't remember. Anyways, light and something. Forgive me. But these are this is really a phenomenal program. I really love it. It is not, what's the word I'm looking for? It requires a lot of teacher prep on this. It's really created for the classroom, but because there's so much material available, it's got digital interactive lessons, digital labs, virtual STEM projects, educational videos. It's got a lab manual for live labs. It has the workbook text with, fill in the blank type answers. The quizzes and tests are all online, and I've really enjoyed it. It's quite a bit of teacher prep, though. The lab manual does not include any kind of master supply list. I had to literally go through and decide, okay, these are the labs that we're going to do. These are the materials that we need for these labs, and it was a lot of prep. It was worth it, I will say that. Okay, but now having said that, they've dropped interactive science. They're not using it anymore in their kits, and they're doing something different. They're using a course called Focus on Middle School Astronomy and Geology for 8th grade. That particular, if you go and look at their website and go back to the parent company that produces that curriculum, it's very, very well done. They're highly recommended by both Christians and non-Christians alike. It's a really good curriculum. It's a much better choice, in my opinion, than the interactive science. Not that I'm sad about this choice, but definitely check out what's going to be in the 2017-18 curriculum. If you don't want to do the astronomy, geology, just look at the other offerings. They do chemistry, biology, all that. I mean, they offer everything as far as I can tell. So you might find something else that you want to do instead. But it is, it's a lot more highly recommended than the interactive science was. So this would require an entire video on its own. There's a lot to it, and I probably will do one, because I know I wish I would have found one when I was setting all this up. Because once you know what to do, it's really not hard, but you kind of, there's a little bit of a learning curve with it, but it's really, really good. And as a matter of fact, this curriculum has sparked such an interest in science with my son that he's voiced to me that he wants to go into a science field career-wise, and I find that absolutely thrilling, you know, that a curriculum would be that well done that it would literally prompt a student to want to pursue a career in that field. So I do highly recommend this. Okay, Elements of Science, that is going to be offered next year as well. It's a science kit. It's a physical, actually I think it's a combination of chemistry, biology, and physical science. Well, chemistry is a physical science, sorry. It's a chem biology combo kit. So we don't just go in here and use the lab manual and go through all the different labs, because we use the parts of this to go with the labs that correspond with this. And of course, it doesn't include everything we needed for this. So, sorry, I also have a 6-year-old and I was getting paged. So, okay. And I've forgotten where I was. So anyway, oh, the science kit. We've just used parts of this to go with the materials that we've needed for this. So he's already told me that he literally just wants to go through the lab manual though and do these experiments. So over the summer, that's probably what we're going to do. It's just, the labs have been the most interesting part of the whole thing. And it's worth taking the time. If you're going to choose a curriculum like this that has the labs, then definitely do them. Take the time to do them. You know, there are days when I don't feel like messing with it, but it's worth it. It really is worth it. And it's not too difficult. It's really not. And you're not going to blow up anything. The experiments are tame enough that you don't have to worry about them, you know, blowing stuff up in your house. So I do highly recommend that. And I do know for a fact that the science that they're offering in Timberdoodle's kit for next year, the one I mentioned already, have lab kits that you can purchase separately through Home Science Tools. Home Science Tools is a website where you can get all the lab equipment you could ever possibly need for home science. And they offer a kit that is specially made for that particular publisher's curriculum. They offer Apologia kits, they offer kits for all kinds of different things, and they just offer individual tools. You know, the beakers and the stirring rods and the flasks and, you know, chemicals, everything you could possibly need. So just to know that Timberdoodle's not putting the lab kits in with their Elite kit, but you can get them if you don't want to have to piece them together yourself through Home Science Tools. And I love that website. They have great customer service. They're friendly, wonderful to work with, and we used them quite a bit. Okay, so as I kind of look through here, it looks like I've gone through everything. So that's it. I really wanted to do this. I know a lot of people think that middle school, high school, homeschool education is daunting. And I just want to encourage people to not be afraid of that. You know, if you want, you know, to try to attempt to do the middle school and high school years, the curriculums today are so well done, are so intuitive, is that the word I'm wanting to use? Just really well done. Apologia is written in conversational tone where the students can pretty much teach themselves just by going through the material. We did chemistry this year with my 11th grader, and although to me it looked completely dry and boring, he was actually said it was wonderful. He said he learned a lot from it and that it was written really well. This program has been phenomenal. I've had to do very little intervention or help with this. Again, teaching textbooks is like having a teacher come to your house and sit with your student, presents a lesson to your student, and then they do the work. And if they get a problem wrong, they get another chance to do it. It shows them where in the book to find the lesson or what lesson the problem came from so they can go look it up. I mean, it's very, it makes the student able to be very self-sufficient. This program he's need very little help with. At one point, I did have to kind of help him. He was stuck at one point. At another point, after that though, once he did get stuck, he was able to figure out where he went wrong and fix it himself. So the only thing that I think we've needed a little more help with from my part is in the writing. We're going to have to spend some time doing that this summer because next year I know with the curriculum we're going to be using, he's going to be writing a lot of essays, and I think that needs work. I think writing is one of those things where students just need some help. It doesn't come naturally to a lot of kids, and a lot of boys especially, trying to get their thoughts on paper. Just trying to get their thoughts out of their mouth in a cohesive manner can be very challenging for boys in many cases. So, but I want to encourage you, don't be afraid of it. If you really want to try it, but you're scared to, and you're thinking, oh, I'm just going to enroll them in public school, the worst thing that can happen is it doesn't work out and you have to put them back at school. But don't be afraid to at least give it a shot. And anyway, I'll be signing off for now and hope to see you soon. Please subscribe. I know this channel is new. I know my video's shaky. I know I stumble through my videos. I'm new at this, but I have big plans for this channel, and I'm very passionate about homeschooling. And I want to encourage people, and I want to give people, tools and tips and whatever I can help with, and just kind of go on this journey together. I think we all need the support of one another to do this well. And reviews are something that I would spend hours and hours looking at. So Timberdoodle's Elite kit, I've seen many unboxing videos and things like that, but I hadn't seen many reviews where people really talked about the individual elements. So I just wanted to do that with this. And please subscribe, and if you want to get all your notifications on when I post a video, please click on the bell, and you will definitely know when I upload a video. And you guys have a great day.